All right, so if you have not yet watched the video on how to assign activities on Snorkel, I'd suggest starting there. But if you have, this is kind of like the next step. So this is how to assign our spaces on SchoolAI. So it's a completely different platform, but a lot of the policies are the same. Once again, in our district, we cannot connect this AI directly to our Google Classroom. Our district has decided that it does not want to share student information in that way. So what we have to do is either share a code or a link so that students may access our spaces. So we're going to go ahead and start on this Launchpad. Now, you are welcome to find a space that somebody else has created, or let's say that you want to create a new space, or you just want to access your old ones. I think that they make it really tricky to find your old ones. So if you're on your Launchpad, you can look in the bottom right and it says My Creations. If you go there, it'll take you to this big long list of all your creations, and then you can click on the one that you are looking to assign. The other thing you can do is if I go back to that Launchpad and start over again, you'll see in this top right corner it says Launch a Space. It will give you those same options that we had on the Launchpad. I'm going to go ahead and go back to My Creations. I'm going to go back to single digit multiplication, and it will load it in behind, and I can just click over here and it will show me that same view that I saw from the Launchpad going straight to this. Now, there are a couple different options here, and it can get confusing because this one says share space, a little airplane. This is how you share this with your colleagues. So it's not for students to interact with, it's for your colleagues to get access to the teacher side of this. So we don't want to give this one to students. This is not how we share with students, this is how we share with our fellow teachers. Instead, we want this bright blue button that says launch with a little rocket. If you click on this, it will give you very similar options to what Snorkel gave us. It either gives us the option to add it to Google Classroom. That is not the one we want. This should be X'd out. We do not want to add to Google Classroom. We are not able to connect to Google Classroom. That is not an option. Instead, we want to use a space code. So if you click use a space code, it will give you two different options. So you can either copy this link straight to your Google Classroom, which if you plan ahead, that is for sure the best option, is copying this to your Google Classroom so that your students can go onto Google Classroom, find this link, and then just log in as a guest. The other choice is you could have your students go to SchoolAI's guest login and enter this code, but that one takes far longer as you have to go around and make sure students are on the right website and that they have the right code. You have to leave it up, and then they're not going to remember this code at a later date, so they won't really have access later. Where if you copy this to Google Classroom, students will be able to access this until you manually go in and close the space down. So I'm just going to say this one more time because I know it gets lost. We cannot share these on Google Classroom. Students have to sign in as guests using these URLs and these links. They cannot be shared through Google Classroom due to privacy concerns.